Welcome aboard. It's time for lesson one. And lesson one is all about timing when you eat and when you rest. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to open your tool up. And once it's open, you're going to make sure that you've got your user information in. So you've already watched the video on how to put your user information in, how to save it. Just make sure that your user's up here. If it's not the correct user, if it's not you, change it so it is you. And then confirm that the time is right and that the date is right and that this is right. If it's not, you're going to want to go change and make sure it's right because otherwise your rhythms are going to be off. Then the next thing you do is you make sure that the time zone is set properly. I'm in Florida, that's Eastern time. This is the proper time zone. Now, before I hit the enter current date and time button, I want to talk about what we're going to look at. So this is the graph you're really going to focus on. It's called the filometer. And we're going to look at the micro P frequency. So the small p, the micro P, it's the skinny blue line. And this is that messy line that goes all over the place, up and down. And this line, what it's doing is it's regulating sympathetic control. So your sympathetics, that's the fight or flight or the activity portion of our body. And the parasympathetics, that's the rest and digest portion of our body. And rest and digest happens when it gets down into these yellow and specifically the green zones. I call this low hanging fruit because all you have to do is eat right before this happens and then rest while it's going on. If you eat right before this, your body is already priming itself for more nutrition. It's waiting for it. And if you wait too long, what happens is this is when you start to get hungry. You'll notice that your mouth is watering or that you're starting to think about food, and our body's reactive. So if you wait until you're in this, what's happening is you're already behind it. You're reacting to what you feel versus we're going to show you when this is going to happen before it happens so that you can already have food in your stomach and you can be getting ready to rest so that you capture this entire time right here. Now, this low-hanging fruit on average per user is about 2 hours. How do you know when it's the peak time? These time fields that go in between the circadian rhythmic graph and the filometer graph, these time zones relate to the highs and the lows. So this 10:29 p.m., that relates to this low. This 12:26 a.m., that relates to this high. This 2:24 a.m., this low, 4:21, this high. So if you see a time here, it's relating to either a high or a low. Now you can see that two lows are not the same. So at 2:24 a.m., this low is still pretty high. It's up in the active section. But then if we come over here to 10:13 a.m., you can see that this low is very low. Okay. So not all rest and healing phases are created equal. And we're going to talk more about that. But in the beginning here, we want you trying to capture all of these. Every time this happens, this is the best time to eat right before this low-hanging fruit happens. It's best to rest through this time period until your microcurrent comes back up here and starts working again. Now, what happens if you decide to eat somewhere in between these? So if you miss this and you decide to eat at this 2:24 a.m. time, what's going to happen is food and the digestive process is going to be stagnant. It's not going to have the same power. It's not going to have the same force. It's not going to have the same efficiency. And what happens is we have undigested food that kind of just sits there and it's waiting until this next one happens again. Now, is it going to process some of what you put in there? Yes, but it's not going to be efficient. So people that have a lot of indigestion problems or heartburn problems, or they feel full and bloated after they eat, that's because they're eating at the wrong times of the day. If you start to really become disciplined and only eat about an hour before this downtime and then rest for an hour after it happens, so this is that 2 hour period, within a day or two, you will notice increased digestive function and less bloating, less indigestion. If you're hungry during this time right here, what it means is what you're going to want to do is eat a very easily digestible snack, something that's healthy and something that your body can easily digest. You don't want to have a heavy, thick meal. You want to keep it light. When you get to this time, though, this is where you're going to have your biggest meals of the day. Now, this is really going to disrupt what we've taught ourselves about having breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's not how this works. And as we cycle through time, you're going to see that this happens at different times. It's kind of like the ocean tide. If you live by the ocean and there's a high tide at 10 o'clock in the morning one day, the next day it's going to be offset. It's not going to be at 10 o'clock in the morning again. That's exactly how your internal rhythms work as well. Okay, so let's do a practical example here. So we've got user information up. You know what we're trying to capture now. We're trying to capture these downward low-hanging fruits. This is the best time to rest. This is the best time to digest. Now I'm going to bring you to where we actually are in my rhythm. So it's Thursday. It's January 15th, 2026, 5:19 p.m. Eastern Time. This is how far away I am for my next rest and digest period. So I want to know, well, when is going to be the best time for me to eat tonight? So 9:57, here's my low right here. That is aligned with this low right here. I want to eat at least an hour, if not maybe an hour and a half before this. So this is at 10 o'clock. I'm going to eat somewhere around 8:30, 9 o'clock. I want to grab it right here. So at 8 p.m., you see this high? So I'm going to be preparing my food at 8, and I'm going to be eating my food by 8:30, and then I'm going to be resting supine. Supine means on your back. Your body knows when it's laying down, and when it lays down and you're on your back, it actually encourages parasympathetic function. So I know for most people, they're going to say, well, I can't eat this late. I'll have indigestion. Well, if you're not eating at the right time, you will have indigestion. But if you're eating when your rhythms expect food and are ready to process it, it's the opposite. You won't have indigestion. You'll be able to eat earlier or later. And what you have to do is, and you can see that this is a kind of a difficult time for me. Like, I have to eat a big breakfast in the morning, and I have to be up pretty early to do that and then lay and rest, and then I can get going onto my day. It's not happening. My rest and digest is not happening at noon when a lot of people like to eat, or at 1 or 2. Now, if I was to eat at 1 or 2 p.m. today, I'd have undigested food kind of just sitting around, not having anywhere to go until this time. And after I started understanding how to use these patterns and to understand the best times to eat, I won't go back to that anymore, because every time I cheat and I decide I want to do it my way, I suffer. I get gas, I bloat, my digestion is off. So even though I'm telling you right now that, yeah, it's going to be a little funky to start to change your times, it makes a huge difference. So once you see where this downward point is right here, you automatically know about an hour in front of it. So you want to eat by 9, and then you're going to want to lay still until 11. So after I eat, I'm just going to chill out in my bed and do some work up there or watch a show, and then I'm going to go to sleep. And that's how I'm going to maximize digestive function and how I'm going to help my body rest. Now, sometimes, and you're going to see everybody's rhythms are different, that these are going to happen during the middle of the night. This is also the time when your body's going to be easily able to sleep and slip into the deeper, longer frequencies. So the delta frequencies are the frequencies of deep sleep. Those are the longest and slowest frequencies. And that's when this is happening. Okay. So that's lesson one. Lesson one is being able to basically hit this button to get to exactly where we are in our rhythm. And then each day you're going to be able to look at that 24-hour period, and you're going to be able to say, okay, this is when I'm going to eat. This is when I'm going to rest. And you're going to start to align your routine. Now, the people who really want to do this immediately, well, everyone should want to do this immediately, but the people that should prioritize this, anybody that has active pain, anybody that has active disease or condition, the last thing you want to do is put your body at a disadvantage. You are going to want to synchronize with your rhythms. This is how your body becomes more efficient. It wastes less energy and it causes you less discomfort. I can't make that any clearer. Now, there's one more button I'm going to show you here before we end this video, and it's this double blue button. If you press this, it moves your rhythms 12 hours at a time. So it's going to take this one, and then you're going to see I'm going to move it over, and you're going to see that this upper part right here is going to be at this part of the graph when I do this again. Watch. And what I've done now is I fast forwarded this to Friday. So at the start of the graph right here, it's Friday, basically 8 a.m. So 7:59 a.m. and it's going to go all the way until Saturday at 7:12 a.m. You see how it's already offsetting? Like this is 8 a.m. on Friday morning, and when we get to Saturday morning, it's not going to be. It's going to be about 7:30 when that one starts. Now, what I can do is I can plan for tomorrow too. So tomorrow, I know that at 9:41, I'm going to have my low peak here. So if I'm going to have a big meal and I'm going to have a big breakfast, it better be in my stomach and I better be laying down not too long after. I'd want to be at 8:40 at the latest to eat, and then I'd want to rest until 10:40. Same thing here. You see how it's coming backwards. Now, my optimal time to eat isn't 10, it's 9:25. That's when I'm going to hit the low spot. I'm going to want to back this up an hour, and it's going to be close to 8 o'clock now when I eat. See how it's 7:30 here is the high spot? I'd be preparing my food. By about 8 o'clock, I'm going to be eating. Then I'm going to be laying in my bed again, and I'm going to be digesting. And then when I'm done digesting and I start to feel sleepy, I'm just going to go to sleep and let my body do the work. And you can do this again and again. Like if you want to go see Saturday, just hit this button twice. It goes 12 hours at a time. And now we're at Saturday morning. Look at now it's 7:27 a.m. This is the offset. Now, this is worth talking about. This doesn't happen but once every 6.5 days. You see how the purple rhythm and the blue rhythm come down together? This will be the most powerful day in the next 6.5 days for me to have nutritious food and to make sure I rest. We call this the Sabbath. Every 6.5 days, your body resets, your emotional rhythms and your physical rhythms bottom out, parasympathetic strengthen, and this would be something you would never want to miss. Okay, so that's how we're going to get you started here. When you get your technology, we're going to review quick here before we shut it down. Username, enter current date and time. It's going to show you where you are in your rhythm. You're going to be able to look at the low and say, okay, at basically 10 o'clock, that's when I'm going to be at peak. I want to eat an hour before that. And then after the peak, I want to rest at least an hour. That's how you do this. You want to fast forward to the next day? That's how you do that. Now it's Friday, 7:59 a.m. in the morning, and here are the two times for me. When you change out the users, every user is going to have a different downtime. That's how important this is. We're going to help people feel better. Digestion's going to get better. The body's going to work better. And I promise sleep is going to be better too, because if you happen to go to sleep after you've eaten at the wrong time, you can be up all night tossing and turning with indigestion. We're going to end that immediately. As soon as you take this serious and you start aligning with your rhythms, you will notice a huge improvement in overall function, both digestively and how your body feels energy-wise, because you're going to be helping your body do what it's designed to do, which is heal and recover. That's a good start. Can't wait to show you how to anticipate which days are going to be a little bit more edgy than others so that we can start to eliminate future states of stress. See you in that video soon.